Honoring trailblazers of color. It's February 1st, of course, marking the first day of Black History Month. Here at WBTV, we want to pay tribute to the generations of Black Americans who struggled and sacrificed to be treated equally as Americans. 63 years ago today, 4 young men in North Carolina made a sacrifice and changed the face of history. Their names are Franklin McCain, David Richmond, Ezell Blair, and Joseph McNeil. They were all teenage freshmen at North Carolina A&T. They're now known as the Greensboro Four. On this day in 1960, they sat at the Woolworth's lunch counter in Greensboro, an hour and a half northeast of Charlotte. It may not sound like anything out of the ordinary, but it certainly was at the time. The lunch counter was segregated. Franklin McCain said the four were prepared for whatever the consequences would be.
One or two things were going to happen to me. I was going to jail for a long, long time. Well, I was going to have my head split open. I'd come back in a pine box. I mean, that was it. Those were the only two options. So everything else from day one was kind of downhill. I mean, I didn't have any more concerns, period.
When the 4 friends sat down at the lunch counter, a waitress told them that blacks weren't served there. The store manager asked them to leave, but they stayed right there in their seats. The manager called the Greensboro police chief, who said that he could do nothing as long as they remained quiet. The store closed early, and the 4 students left peacefully. It was the start of the sit-in movement.
I don't think we got to the point where we were thinking that, well, when we do this, it's going to be High Point, North Carolina tomorrow, and Danville, Virginia the next day, and Fayetteville the next day, and Winston-Salem the next day. I don't think we thought that way at all.
It was like a snowball. It just kept rolling. And who's next? What city?
Yeah, you heard it there. The peaceful protest soon spread to other states in the South and the North. 6 months after the sit-in movement started, the Greensboro Woolworths finally began serving blacks at its lunch counter. In the first week, 300 African Americans ate at that lunch counter, and it's all because of those 4 young men's courage, principles, and persistence. Coming up next.